Welcome to Boydton, the first hometown of Randolph-Macon. Randolph-Macon was founded here in 1830 and is the oldest Methodist college in the United States in continuous operation. It was established by the Regional Methodist Conference, which was bounded by the Rappahannock River on the north and the Cape Fear River to the south, and comprised most of coastal and Piedmont Virginia and North Carolina. Boydton, capital of Mecklenburg County, located about 10 miles north of the state line in the central Piedmont, was selected since it was near the geographical center of the conference. Also, the county offered as incentives a substantial sum, plus a deeply discounted price on prime land of several hundred acres. Leaders in the effort were the Reverends John Early, Hezekiah Lee, and William A. Smith, Mecklenburg legislator William O. Good, Boydton lawyer Edward R. Chambers, influential Methodist layman Howell Taylor, and Boydton Tavern and Newmarket Racetrack owner William Towns. 9 buildings were erected on the high plateau about a mile west of the courthouse, mostly over a 24-month period. The main building, western building about 80 feet west of the main building, Steward's Hall, which was the student union, the president's house, 3 professors' houses, the preparatory school, and the hotel for officials and guests. 4 contractors and a labor force of between 50 and 100 were employed. 6 of these buildings survive. 4 are used as private residences. Modern U.S. Highway 58 splits the old campus. Only one of the current roads in the area was there in 1830, so visitors must visualize the area as contiguous without the roads. The buildings and design were derived from the ideas of Joseph Capel, who was deeply involved with Thomas Jefferson in planning the University of Virginia. The main building housed all functions except dining and is the building most familiar to alumni due to its long use as the centerpiece on the college seal. When completed in 1832, the 4-story building was the largest structure between Petersburg and Raleigh, 180 feet long by 45 feet deep by 54 feet tall, with an A-shaped roof and a beautiful octagonal cupola crowning the center section, which housed the college bell, which bell is now in the steeple of Boydton United Methodist Church. Not until the 1970s was there a building on the Ashland campus to rival the main building in size. The 2 general contractors were master brick mason Dabney Cosby, the builder of hotels D and E at the University of Virginia some 10 years previous, and William Howard, carpenter and builder of numerous courthouses and other public buildings in southern Virginia. The 2 wings along with the western building were residences, grouped around 4 stairwells like a townhouse plan. The center section was mostly academic and administration. The chapel was on the first floor. Lecture rooms, laboratory, library, and the Washington and Franklin Literary Society chapter rooms consumed most of the remaining space. While under construction, the building was lengthened to slightly exceed Cushing Hall, recently completed at rival Hampton-Sydney College, which has a similar architectural style. The brick is laid entirely in Flemish bond, with the best grade of finished brick on the south front, having the same smooth and narrow mortar joints used on the UVA buildings. Interlocking timber joints were often mortised, with each beam hole bearing a separate Roman numeral and the cross pieces held in place by wooden pegs. Student life at a small school in a rural setting was fairly monastic. Besides the standard courses in English, mathematics, and chemistry, the curriculum was heavy on classical Greek, Latin, and philosophy. Attendance at morning and evening chapel was required, and at Sunday worship, which included the Boydton Methodist congregation. The chapel was the assembly room where such speakers as U.S. President John Tyler addressed the college community and where graduation exercises were conducted in mid-June. It had a 3-sided balcony in addition to the main floor for seating. The balcony was supported by giant columns which were tree trunks stripped of bark and painted white. The facilities were designed for a maximum enrollment of 200. However, rarely did the student population reach that level. The student body was largely from Methodist families in Virginia, the Carolinas, and Georgia. There were 5 faculty members, including the president and several adjunct professors. The inaugural professor of languages, Edward Drumgoole Sims, developed the first collegiate course in modern English in America while teaching here. In addition to 3 regional preparatory schools, there ultimately evolved the Randolph-Macon system, a group of 5 institutions offering instruction to men and women: Randolph-Macon College, Randolph-Macon Women's College, now Randolph College, the Randolph-Macon Academies in Bedford and Front Royal, and Randolph-Macon Institute, later Stratford College in Danville. Also, more than a dozen colleges and universities in Virginia and North Carolina trace their spiritual antecedents to this place. During the 36 years that Randolph-Macon operated at Boydton, a number of prominent faculty and students passed through its halls. Stephen Olin, first president, later president of Wesleyan University in Middletown, Connecticut. Landon Garland, second president, later longtime chancellor of Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee. John Granberry, valedictorian of the class of 1848, the fighting chaplain of the Confederacy and later a bishop. Samuel Lander, valedictorian of the class of 1852 and founder of Lander University in Greenwood, South Carolina. Richard Watson Jones, class of 1857 and founding president of Mississippi State College for Women in Columbus. David Clopton, class of 1840, who represented Montgomery, Alabama in the United States and Confederate States Congresses and later an Associate Justice on the Supreme Court of Alabama. Robert Lanier of Macon, Georgia, father of Sidney Lanier, the famed Poet Laureate of the South. And Holland McTierry, class of 1844, the great builder president of Vanderbilt University in Nashville. The college was forced to relocate after 36 years at Boydton due to losing its $100,000 endowment, largest in the South at the outbreak of the Civil War, through investment in Confederate government securities. Also, the withdrawal of North Carolina from the Virginia Methodist Conference and its support of Trinity College, now Duke University, left Boydton no longer at the center of the supporting conference. The loss of major transportation links during the Civil War created isolation. The Richmond, Fredericksburg, and Potomac Railroad secured a former hotel property on its rail line at Ashland for a new campus, prompting the comment that Randolph-Macon is probably the only American college to begin on a racetrack and end in a hotel. After the large Boydton land holdings were divided and sold, the main building tract, then also including Stewart's Hall, was acquired by a prominent Boston physician closely allied with the Reverend Henry Ward Beecher, who began a school for African American youth. When the Boydton Institute ceased operation in the mid-1930s, the massive main building with very little maintenance began a long period of decline. Plans to establish a preparatory school and a home for retired Methodist ministers failed. Thereafter, the main building with the adjacent frame cottage built for the first headmistress of the Institute was acquired by John McHenry, a retired pastor in the Virginia Methodist Conference, who, with limited finances, attempted to save the West Wing. The entire East Wing had collapsed and only the walls remained of the center section. When the late Mr. McHenry's son made the two buildings and its adjacent 12 acres available, the Old Brunswick Circuit Foundation borrowed the funds at the height of the Great Recession of 2008 and 9 to purchase so as to not lose the option. Having removed the brush and vines from the towering brick walls, erecting a security fence and directional signage, the first priority is to pay off the $150,000 purchase loan. Then, so as to not lose more of the walls, a steel framework designed by structural engineers is to be installed to hold the remarkable 5 courses thick brick walls in place. Once the walls are stabilized, then the grounds are to be cleared of undergrowth and a self-guided interpretive tour installed, which will relate the heritage of the pioneering Methodist, related, and early African American institutions that were founded here. Restoration of the Holinshaw Cottage to house the significant Randolph-Macon and Boydton Institute collections is a further goal. These two buildings are on the western portion of the 12-acre tract. The remaining 8+ wooded acres have the utility and internet services needed to renew this site for future higher education purposes in this greatly underserved area of Virginia and North Carolina. Although an audacious undertaking, creation of a degree-granting facility that would complement and enhance the neighboring community college offerings would add a critical element to this area's future economic development. For more information about Randolph-Macon at Boydton and how you can help, go to the Randolph-Macon website, http://library.rmc.edu/boydton.html.